Fantasy managers, hello and welcome back to the FPL Addicts preview podcast for game week 18. It's the three amigos tonight, and Ollie might be joining us a little bit later. We've got Reedy with his Captain America shield in the top right of his screen in a new studio because he's dog sitting for one of his mates, but the grind never stops for him. Reedy, how are you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, Al. Yeah, got the old Captain America shield there. I think a few fantasy managers might need that this week after all the headlines going on with COVID, but I'm doing well, mate. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you. And obviously Liverpool getting through in the Champions League undefeated. Managed to get 6 wins from 6, top in their group, the group of death they called it. Same amount of points in the Champions League for Liverpool as Everton have got in the Premier League. So you've got to be delighted with that, Reedy.
Yeah, I love that, Al. The little Everton throw in there. But yeah, delighted. Won every game, first English side to do that, which I find really, really strange, to be honest, that no English side has ever won every game in their group stage. But yeah, we've done it. There's a potentially an easier fixture for us, as we finish top. So I'm looking forward to that last 16, mate. But now, of course, the attention turns to the league this weekend. We've got a nice home fixture against Steven Gerrard's Villa. So we'll see how that one goes. Should be good.
Certainly do. And Jack, your Man United didn't manage to win all of their games, but you did manage to top your group as well. So you've got to be happy with the result there.
Yeah, listen, comfortable with that, El. And obviously we even managed to blood some of the youngsters this morning. Got the youth squad out. Even little Charlie Savage got a run, and a couple of the other ones to mention. We've even got a Zidane in our team as well, which is very nice. Not the Zidane everyone wanted, but it's listen, happy with that. Obviously got through the competition pretty, one game to spare, which was nice. Rested a few players, ready for the huge game against Norwich this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of big fixtures coming up this weekend, which we will touch on in a little bit, but we'll start and going back to game week 15, and there was a lot of corking games of football and a lot of FPL points. The average was fairly high this week. So, Reedy, what was a game that really stood out for you this weekend?
I'd have to go for the not a great pick of the bunch, but I'd probably say Everton Arsenal, just because how poor Everton's form's been. Benitez has kind of come under the cosh a little bit, so the pressure's certainly been on. And with that game being at home, you thought Arsenal would have went there and kind of swept Everton aside quite easy. But as we all saw or all know now, Damari Gray decided otherwise and just scored an absolute banger near the end of the game, in off the post, and Everton come away with the 3 points. Maybe not the most entertaining game as such, but there was controversy in there, certainly, with VAR, Richarlison getting 2 goals chalked out beforehand. And then, of course, Arsenal took the lead with Odegaard. So, yeah, decent game in my opinion of a bunch that really, don't stand out too much. I would say that would be my pick.
Yeah, it was a brilliant game of football, and obviously, as you said, Everton able to stop Arsenal, their first win in a while. Everton, they definitely needed that. So, what a finish from Damari Gray to get them all the 3 points in their own front turf. So, brilliant result for the Toffees. Unlucky for the Gunners. Maybe peg them down a little bit. People were starting to think they were doing a bit too well, weren't they? So, you've got to bring them back down to their level, and sort of realise that they're not going to be maybe competing for the Champions League spots as the Arsenal fans were maybe starting to pipe up and say, but humbled them a little bit. And Rafa Benitez's Everton did manage to get 3 points there. Jack, what about a fixture for you? There was a lot of goals this weekend, goals galore. Not really from your Man United Crystal Palace, but other than that, which fixture really stood out for you?
Yeah, it was a bit quieter from the United end. Obviously, we got the victory in the end, which was fantastic. But I think we'll go back to the first fixture of the weekend, which was the West Ham Chelsea. 5 goals in there, end-to-end action. West Ham, with scoring some screams. That Bowen goal was fantastic. Thiago Silva, Mount, getting on there. Lanzini, Masuaku, but the Masuaku goal was What a freak. Cross or shot. Really, that reminds me of your crossing days.
Hey, listen, it doesn't matter how it goes in, Jack. As long as it hits the back of the net, and as you say, I don't know if it was a cross or shot, but it got him the 3 points, and what a game, I suppose. Yeah, I did, overlooked that one slightly with the Everton Arsenal, but I wanted to leave that one to yourself, mate. So, yeah, as you were.
Yeah, listen, obviously, yeah, great game. Lots of goals, lots of action, and a couple of people, like a couple of players, propping back up. Mason Mount stepping back up again, and obviously, really, you picked him when we did the Champions League one the other night. So obviously, shine this week. But yeah, a player who could be coming back into form. But I do want to mention Spurs Norwich. With myself and Reedy, we'll probably chat about this in our team selections. But we did choose Son in there. And it was good to see, obviously, Spurs getting that result, stepping up and delivering, and most of all, Son delivering the points and backing him. But I know that's a big topic for very shortly as well with this Spurs situation. But what about you, El? What took your fancy? I know you Newcastle got their first win. How was that for you?
It's got to be that one, surely. Surely it's got to be, Jack.
From an FPL perspective, absolutely not, because it wasn't a brilliant game of football. But in terms of a football sense, first win of the season in front of the home fans. The table doesn't look too awful for us now. It's obviously still an uphill battle that we've got to fight. It's only one win. It's a 1-0 against Burnley. But shout out to Callum Wilson. 2 goals in 2 now. That's why I brought him in for those Norwich and those Burnley games. He's managed to do the business and take all 3 bonus in both of those matches. So if you've had him in your team, like me and like Ollie, he's really, really rewarded you for that one. And it's probably going to be the end of the line for him, with the couple of Christmas fixtures that we've got coming up now. But I'm going to keep him in for the Leicester game this weekend because of their COVID situation as well, which we will touch on later. But no, from an FPL perspective, I think, we've got to talk about Leeds Brentford because, Patrick Bamford's back among the goals. He came back from injury. He's back. He's cheap. He's cheap these days. Last season he was the main striker, the main budget striker, up from the Championship Leeds, and he managed to do the business. So I'm sure we're going to see, if he's back in the starting 11 for Leeds, there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in bringing him back into their sides. And he got that late equaliser for Leeds and managed to earn them a point against Brentford. So that's big for Leeds and big for Patrick Bamford as well. And from an FPL perspective, obviously, as I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in him. Reedy, is it too early to be looking at him as an asset? Just coming back from injury, it's probably too early, isn't it?
Quite possibly, and there are rumours. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed that he's actually injured himself again. At the end of the game, he got that goal, and he may have hurt his ankle or something along them lines. So I maybe wouldn't be looking to him just yet. They have got a tough fixture in Leeds as well, and Leeds are a depleted team at the moment. They've got Calvin Phillips out. They've got a lot of injuries and players kind of missing. So he's definitely someone to consider. In the future when the Leeds fixtures maybe get better, you've got that Rafinha sort of Bamford link up, which I'm excited to see. because Leeds haven't quite had that. He's been doing it himself, pretty much, Rafinha. So, yeah, not just yet, mate, but he's one to look out for, in a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, it's quite sad, actually. A lot of people are going to be transferring Rafinha out this week. I think it's going to be myself included, but he's been such a good servant. But, with the fixtures they've got coming up.
Hold it. Yeah, don't reveal everything now. Come on. The listeners waiting.
I think. I don't even know what transfers I'm making yet, Reedy. Yeah. I don't even know what transfers I'm making yet.
Lads, just on this note, like Leeds, just from a football perspective, like surely are these going to be relegation candidates? Like Leeds have got to spend big in January if they're going to stay up now, surely.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're going to have to, because they've got so many injuries at the minute, and the Bielsa teams are known to sort of after the Christmas break, they sort of start to slow down a little bit and don't pick up as many points and all that sort of stuff. I remember, in the Championship, even then they sort of you can notice it. They sort of slow down a little bit, and they're not performing to the heights of last season even now. So it's going to be an interesting one.
They've been found out as well, though, haven't they? Like they went through last season. They've been found out. I don't know.
A little bit, boys, but I wouldn't say that they are. Most teams that get promoted, they fly the first season. They beat teams. They
get relegated in the second.
People don't expect to be beat. Yeah, next season they get relegated. But I feel like Leeds have still got that philosophy of football and that way of playing and that identity, which you can see that. And over the last few game weeks, people have expected them to concede or get beaten. They've actually kept clean sheets, albeit they've got key players missing. So it is going to be tough. I agree that definitely, Jack, that they need to look at signing players and things like that. If these injuries continue, or COVID plays part, that they might need to get a few heads in there in that dressing room to help them push on. And I just don't know if there's other teams that are a bit more vulnerable and not maybe as good with the squad when they're fully fit, and that will be able to cope, especially Norwich and teams are like that, maybe even Watford. But I feel like Leeds can just scrape it. I don't know, boys, what you think?
No.
I don't think they will go down myself, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think at the minute. Obviously, you look at the table at the minute and you think they're sitting pretty comfortably, but they're out of their green patch now, and they've got a lot of tough games coming up, just like Newcastle as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to see, where they sort of sit going into January after the festive period. So we'll just have to wait and see for that one. And obviously, as you've said, they need to spend big, even if it's just a couple of loan signings through the door, just to sort of bolster up their squad, just for this season, and then sort of build from where they go from there. I think it would probably be good for Leeds.
Yeah, just before Christmas, so they've got Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Aston Villa just before the end of the year.
It's three of those 5 on the FDRs in like 4 game weeks for them, isn't it? And they've got a grey or a red in between it.
Yeah, this is it. And that's tough, isn't it? That's tough to ride out going into that busy period in Christmas. Games coming thick and fast. COVID's taking as a factor. Injuries, thin squad. They've got to build up in January. But listen, don't want to take too much time of talking about Leeds, but it would be nice to see them go down.
I'm sure you would be absolutely delighted with that one. But as you said, we will move on and we'll review what the paid league is looking like at the minute. And it is definitely shaping up. I feel like I say it every single week, but we've finally broken the 1,000 point mark for 2 players in our league. Donald Breslin has broken it, and Geordie Wilson has also, with Steve Ward just 7 points behind it. They round off the top 3 there. Jack, 1,000 points so far this season. It's not just like 1,001 or 1,002 as well. It's 1,046 and 1,019. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, it's absolutely superb what these boys are doing. They're absolutely smashing it. We've mentioned this week after week, the form that they're in, and it wasn't going to be too long. I didn't expect to see 1,000 being broke at this point of the season just yet, but once we created this paid mini, it created so much more competition, and they came out of the darkness and out into the light. These guys, and 2 guys, Geordie Wilson, Newcastle fan, can't believe he's up there, being a Newcastle fan, but he obviously knows his stuff more than the Newcastle faithful. And obviously Dodie, who's been on with us before as well, absolutely smashing it. But these guys are on the east coast of Australia as well. It must be something better. It must have more knowledge on the east coast than the around in Melbourne.
Must be that sort of thing. But obviously, as you said, they've both been on the podcast, so the podcast curse is probably not looking like it's going to be a thing this season, boys, is it?
It's absolutely gone. So yeah, it's good to see him. Like the 1,000 points, the 1K has been broken. So well done, and keep it up, boys. Not too much, so we can try and have a bit of a competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And a man that might be up there at some point soon is the Game Week 15 Manager of the Week. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. His name is Chris Reed. He's a new person into this FPL community, so you might not know him. But he's smashed it in Game Week 15. He's been waiting for this moment. He's been waiting for it since the start of the season, after being called the Hitman, the Human Fence, whatever you want to call him. None of it matters now. He's taken out the Manager of the Week for Game Week 15. It is Reedy. Reedy, congratulations, mate. How delighted are you?
Thanks, Elliot. I'm quite happy to say the least. It's nice to finally be up there, with these guys who are just, they're absolutely killing it at the top, and to get Manager of the Week, 64 points. I might as well say it now. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I was coming into that last match day, the Everton Arsenal, and you had the players still with Smith Rowe to go, Ramsdale, Jack himself, even yourself with Tavares. You were in the running there, so it was really close. But this smile on my face says it all. Really, I'm just happy to
like
get
a
something.
Cheshire cat. Is this the first time you've won something, Reedy? Because I know you prepared a speech for it.
What, in my life ever?
He's going to thank his parents and his family and his friends.
It's a big honour,
Yeah, I'm going to put it on me. It's going on my CV, boys. It's going on my CV. But
football CV, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
football manager CV, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just happy. It's nice to win something. It might be the only thing I win this season. You never know.
Hopefully.
As long as I win something and Jack doesn't, that's the main
That's it. Yeah, you got one up now.
So yeah, thanks for that, Elliot. I appreciate the the intro there. That was fantastic, and I've got to milk it while I can, I suppose, haven't I?
Absolutely, and obviously, as you were saying, there was a lot of people up there. I'm glad that you won it though, Reedy, because you obviously took the little. I'll call it a risk. It's a risk to go against Mohamed Salah as a captain and to go with Son in this day and age. So I am glad that someone got it that wasn't just playing like me and playing a little bit boring, sticking with the pack with the effective ownership and everything. So you definitely deserved it, and with that Son shout there, because it would definitely have bitten you on the behind if it didn't pay off, but it did for you and absolutely paid off for you as I've said, because you're the manager of the week, and it's really, really deserved. So,
yeah,
congratulations.
if you go on to if you just change that overall to December, Elliot, just for the anyone watching, you'll obviously see it. You'll see it. There we go. Right at the top still at the moment. That's going to
end the month now. End the month.
This guy off. Look at this, absolutely milking it. Move on to the next section.
Change come the end of this game week, boys. But while I can, look, even Craig Moffat's up there. Where's that guy been with his top knot? But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Craig missed out this week too. He played his wild card. I can't believe he still had hold of it for this long. I think he actually forgot about it. So he plays wild card. I think he's already played his free hit as well. So I think he's caught up quite a bit of ground. So unlucky from Craig coming in second, but he come up to, he's from our university back in the UK as well. So nice bit of healthy competition going on there. And Reedy came out on top. So yeah, all right, Reedy, that's enough.
Enough of that, yeah, absolutely. And we will move on. And finally, we can announce that there is a winner of the Game Week 12 playoff for Manager of the Week between Donal and Kieran King. And they finished on the same net points for a third game week in a row. But it was Donal who took it out this week. So well done to him. He does get the Game Week 12 Manager of the Week. So, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that in FPL, Jack. 3 weeks in a row, same points, just trying to get a winner at this point. It could have been 1 point, could have been 2, didn't matter. But he's managed to get it in the end, so he's got to be delighted with that, wouldn't he?
I'm sure he is. Obviously, he had a fight in his hands, but it shows how competitive this competition is, especially in our paid mini. These boys went head to head for 3 weeks running, and they both made sure the teams were as best they can be. And obviously, they were playing to win each week. So, Donald's come out on top there after 3 weeks, and that's his second award of the season. So, congratulations to him. He's got a bit more cash in his pocket for his rewards. But yeah, that shows what this guy is doing and what he's made of. And I've got no doubt Donal is going to pick up another award of some sort before the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see there on the screen, if you are watching along, but if you are listening, he does also sit second in the free mini, which is absolutely absurd given how many people are in that as well. He's only behind FPL Planner by 1 point, and he's obviously very, very, persistent and always on Twitter helping people out. FPL Planner, he's an absolute legend. He's always on. So to be 1 point behind him is absolutely insane. Their overall ranks for both of them must be absolutely ridiculous. But
1.2, 1.3,
yeah, ridiculous. And that's what 1 point is. And when you're that high up, 1 point is 100 odd ranks or whatever, which doesn't seem like much, but it really is quite a bit. But to be that high in the world, Jack, that's just absolutely insane. If any of them break into that top 1k, that's just going to be ridiculous, isn't it? And to have that in our paid league, do we stand a chance at this point?
Listen, the closest thing we've got to coming to there at the minute is just being part of the FPL Addicts community. So, these guys, the top 10, they're all in the top 10k in the world overall as well. So, a little stat for you there. So, if you want to be in that top 10k, you need to be around, 1,020 points overall. So, if you're around there already, so you need to have broken the 1,001k to be in that top 10k as a bit of a measure for everyone. So, we're going to keep pushing on. We're going to keep aiming high. I think January is going to be a big tell for a lot of people with the AFCON being on, and obviously big players away like Salah, of course. So, that's going to be the chance for everyone to start catching up, I reckon.
I can't be the only one, boys, that's actually excited about Salah going away. I think it's just going to bring something different to the game because it's really vanilla these days, even for myself, just captain Salah every single week. It just feels a little bit wrong to me. So I'm actually looking forward to him going away. You can put the money somewhere else. You don't just set and forget captain him. It's actually going to be quite nice. Obviously, Reedy, he's going away from Liverpool, so you're not going to be very happy considering your title charge, and you're probably not going to be happy for FPL either. So where do you sort of sit with it at the minute?
Oh, it's just there's one thing after another, isn't there, boys? We had everything last year with no fans, and the whole COVID situation affecting things and all the rest of it. It was a horrible season. It was nice to see the fixture congestion from an FPL point of view, because the games came thick and fast, and we all kind of rode the wave, if you like. But this season, with it going a little bit back to normal, if you like, with the fans and things like that, now there's these problems that are kind of arising. And Salah going to the AFCON is just another one. This AFCON being on and stuff like that. You've got the Club World Cup possibly as well that Chelsea might be going to. So we are going to miss Mo Salah, and people are going to have to take these risks and all the rest of it. Just to mention as well, though, just to quickly go back to Donald Breslin there, just to put that into perspective, boys. I know you said top 10k, Jack. But this guy he's 1,296th, right? So he's in the top 5k. He's even closer to the top 1k. So himself and obviously FPL Planner as well. Unbelievable is all I could say, boys. They're just fantastic, But yeah, going back to the AFCON, as I say, I digressed a little bit there. Salah's going to be a huge miss, I think.
Yeah, and Jack, obviously, as a Man United fan, you're going to be happy, but you sort of agree with what I said there. With it just seems a little bit same these days. You look at which fixture Mohamed Salah's got. It doesn't matter who he's playing. You stick the armband on him most weeks, and he's just in most people's teams these days. So if he hauls, it's great. If he doesn't, it doesn't really affect you. So I'm actually personally quite excited to see where it sort of goes with a lot of the more casual FPL players that are going to have to put a little bit more thought into it, I think, and stuff like that. And I think it's going to definitely shape up a lot of mini leagues. Where do you sort of sit with it?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, El. I'm in total agreement with that. I mean, obviously my style, I'm quite happy to mix it up every now and then with the captain armbands. I know Reedy's pretty similar. Well, very, I know he is definitely like that. He loves a risk. So I like that bit of excitement. I want to do something a little bit different. It keeps it fresh. Obviously, that's just my style, but that might just be reason why I'm sitting where I'm sitting in the league. But I've gone Son a couple of times this season already. I'm looking forward to trying to put the armband on a couple of United players like last year. Obviously, Bruno and Salah were the perma captains, but at least there was 2 last year. This year is only Salah, so it's going to be nice to try and mix it up a little bit. And I'm hoping that he's going to be a United captain, because it makes me even a bit more excited about watching United even more so, especially with a new manager. So yeah, captain armbands, I'm all for it. When Salah goes away, let's mix it up.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how the whole of the FPL community does sort of manage it. But we did go off on a little bit of a tandem there. We've got to make sure that we go through how the Women's League is shaping up as well, because Karen Spence is only 11 points off that 1,000 mark as well. So she's got to have a brilliant overall rank in the world. She sits top of the Women's Mini with Maya in second. And that rounds off the top 2 there. And as you can see,
a quick shout out to Karen Spence as well. Give us a subscribe on YouTube this week, finally. So yeah, welcome to the community, Karen. And it's good to, hopefully we can get a bit more interaction off you on the podcast.
Getting the paid league next season is the one piece of advice that I would say to you with that score, is you've got to get yourself in the paid league. If you're subscribing on YouTube, if you're listening from afar, wherever you are, you've got to get yourself in the paid league. You would be stealing a living. But as we say, 989, and then they've got 2 people on 979, 974. So it just sort of tapers out there. But the Women's League is really shaping up to show for a good, sort of near the halfway point of the season now. So we're going to see a little bit more separation, I think, between the scores. But it's good to see that for most of these mini leagues that we've got, it's fairly tight at the top still. It just shows how competitive that it really is. But that is the Women's Mini, and we'll move on to the bonus bank head-to-head mini now. And it's my favourite one, boys. I say it every week. It's because it's the only one that I'm doing decently well in. I'm sitting in I'll call it joint second. It's actually 4th, but joint second. Donal sits top, and then Pizza Boy, Simon, and myself sit there on 33 points, with them just beating me by a goal difference or overall points. And then we've got Josh, we've got Mark Sargent, Tom Stones, Matt Cowling, a lot of familiar names there. But, Ollie's the first one other than the podcast lot sitting there, boys. He sits in 12th. The Guru's in 15th. He's below the average, the Guru. Jack and Reedy, you're battling it out there for 17th and 18th. That's a big battle, isn't it, down the bottom of the league between you two?
I call it halfway, El. Come on. Mid-table.
I know, yeah, Elliot like that, looking down from the top. All right, boys, see you all the way down there. All right, then, come on.
I think I must have just got nice fixtures every single week, mate, because as you can see, 902 points, you've got to go down a fair bit in the league. You've got to go down all the way to 13th until you find someone who has got less points than me. So I think I've just been really nice with the fixtures that I've been drawn on the week. And
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Look, you've been playing in all them teams where people have forgot to change their teams and do their transfers every week, mate. So listen, you've had an easy ride up to now. So let's not forget me and Jack. We'll be up there. Don't you worry about it. I hope I don't come back to eat these words, by the way.
I definitely don't doubt that, but yeah, it's an interesting league. It's something a bit different, isn't it? So it's definitely very, very exciting to see. It's head to head. It just depends who you get on the week. It's similar to draft, as we all know. You can have a rubbish score one week, and the person can have a worse score than you. They could be, top 1K in the world. As long as they have a worse score than you, that's all that matters. And then you get the 3 points, and you shoot up the mini league. So it's an interesting one, but it's certainly something different to the classic style of FPL. We do have a quick comment from Eddie Casey, and I'll bring it up on screen. He says he did a -4. Was it worth it to get Bowen and King for Mbeumo and Tony? If he didn't get Bowen now, he wouldn't be able to afford him. Jack, what's your opinion on this? A lot of people are going to be transferring in Jarrod Bowen this week after his man of the match performance against Chelsea. He was absolutely brilliant. So what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, spot on. He was really impressive. I think we mentioned it in our Discord, didn't we, when we were chatting on there, how good he was. Bowen, really active, getting on the ball, really positive, really aggressive in his play in terms of, going towards goal. Really like Bowen, so easy, good on the eye. King's obviously bagged a few goals as well. And Mbeumo, 100%. Like, I got him out. Obviously, I know he got an assist in the last game week, but he's done nothing else since then. I had him in my team. I brought him in the wild card, so I think it's good to get him out. And Tony, I've not been a massive fan of him. I think he'll grab a few goals, but if you can spend your money elsewhere where they're a bit more active, like Josh King looks like he's going to bag a few more as well. So I think 2 good decisions, mate. Good -4. Hopefully you've got no Spurs assets in there that you need to get rid of after you've already taken a hit. So yeah, all good, mate. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Jack. I think you've said everything that I was thinking as well. I think, if you were, patient with Mbeumo, I think, you've come to the end of your tether now, even if he did
I
manage
think
to
so,
get an
yeah.
assist.
Yeah, he's had more than enough time to kind of do the business for FPL managers, and the hype was there, wasn't it? And quite a lot of us fell for it. It was a bit of a differential, but came in and just didn't do the business. So I think he's had his time. So yeah, ship him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reedy, obviously the manager of the week, the highest points in the league this season. This week in game week 15. Definitely not this season with 64, but it doesn't matter. It was the highest this week, and as I was saying before with the head-to-head, 64 points. If that's the highest in 1 week, then you've done a really good job. It was obviously 21 points above the average. So take us through your team from game week 15, Reedy.
Cheers, matey. Yeah. So nice little 64 there. Smashed that average, which was nice after a couple. Last 3 game weeks, those red arrows, like a thorn in the side. But Alexander Arnold, what can we say? Mr. Consistent in terms of those defenders at the moment. He's the only one of these high-priced asset defenders who's still delivering. Got me the 9 points there. I think is a clean sheet and assist. I think he might have got
3 bonus, wasn't it? 3
bonus
I think
as well. Well, there we go. Yeah, exactly. So this guy is, you look at his run of form and all the rest of it, and his points he's getting. He's got to be in your side. So he delivered for me. Unfortunately, the James move I did a couple of weeks ago, it's been absolutely rubbish because Chelsea, as we know, got beat by West Ham 3-2. So no points for this guy. Cancelo as well. I don't even know if James did play, I think, but Cancelo, City conceded to Watford fairly late on in the game. I thought I was heading for a clean sheet on that one, wasn't to be. Mo Salah chipped in with a nice little assist to get us the 1-0 win. Divock Origi, come on, my son. Conor Gallagher, little 2-pointer, nothing special. That man, I don't know if you guys have got him in your team. I think you have, Elliot, but Diego Jota, what are you doing? Open goal.
How did he not score?
How's he not scored and put that in the net, or at least got the assist for us? Squares it to Mane, nice little tap in. It just wasn't to be. So this guy gets us, got me 3 points. And Mbeumo, we talk about him a lot. I think fantasy managers hate that guy now.
I can't believe you've kept him after how many hits you've taken this season. How is he still in your team?
I put a tweet not long ago saying I think it's time to get him out, and it's like he's hit the post too many times and this, that, and the other. He's not scoring. And I had to keep him because
Look at that game week 8. That's when I did my wild card. Game week 8, and he did nothing all the way
listen,
until
though, listen.
7 weeks in a row he blanked. 7.
He's still
and he
better than.
kept-
He's still got more points than Harry Kane. So let's be honest, boys. But I kept him in. I had to because of the moves I wanted to make at the time or recently. They've took more priority, so I've had to keep Mbeumo in, and he got me an assist. Son was the main sort of focus of this team. Put the captain's armband on him. Got the assist, got the goal, and it was just made up that he got that. He also got 2 bonus points as well. Vardy didn't do anything. Yet again, him and the James transfers haven't paid off for me lately. And then Brozier with the 8 points for me. I think, was it 1-1 in the end? Southampton drew. I think they nearly won it, but Brighton snatched away. Yeah, at the end. So Brozier got the goal. I was happy with that. He got me, I think he got bonus points as well. Neil Maupay snatched that extra bonus point right at the end. Otherwise, he would have got the 9. But yeah, I can't complain too much. Apart from the likes of James not scoring really, and Vardy and Jota, it could have been a lot higher. But I'm pleased with the 64 there now.
Yeah, and as you said, it doesn't matter. You managed to get manager of the week this week, 64 points, and a really brilliant score all round. Points galore, and as we mentioned, the Son captaincy as well. It's nice to see someone go something different other than Mohamed Salah. Like myself, I managed to get 59 points. Robert Sanchez managed to get 3. He hasn't really done anything. Livramento again, and Alonso didn't manage to get clean sheets in either of their games because of that late equaliser from Brighton, and obviously West Ham scoring 3. Nuno Tavares was a disappointing one for me.
What a
It was
stitch
the
up! What a stitch
first
up that was for
game
him.
in 7. First game in 7 that he's not started for Arsenal, and it was the game that I brought him in. Guru was telling me, and everyone on Twitter was saying get Davies. I was thinking, nah, Everton have been a little bit rubbish. Going to go with an Arsenal asset this week because they're looking good, and it's the last time that I listen and buy into any Arsenal hype because they are rubbish. It doesn't matter how good form they're on; they will always be the same old Arsenal.
I felt for you big time, mate, with that one because we watched him in the watch along, he looked all right, and we spoke about him on the podcast and that, and he looked pretty good, and I don't think it was a bad shout. Like I say, he's been starting every game. There was no reason to drop him in terms of coming up to that game. He's been playing well, and then he gets dropped, and Tierney comes in and has an absolute blinder as well.
I know, and that's what everyone on Twitter was telling me, is that it's going to be interesting when Tierney comes back. And I sort of said Tierney's been back for he's been on the bench for 4 games in a row or whatever. Like if he's not fit now, I think he genuinely was just keeping him out the side, but he just managed to get dropped at Tavares, which was a disappointing one for me.
Yeah.
It was a weird one, but because he didn't have a good game against Liverpool or anything like that, and I thought, if Arteta's sticking with him through that, because he practically assisted Jota for that goal, didn't he, really, where Jota sat down Ben White or whatever. I thought if Arteta's persisting with him there, he's pretty much undroppable. But unfortunately for me, he wasn't, and he did manage to get dropped this week. But I think it's going to be a fairly short-lived career in my FPL team for Tavares, because he might be on his way out this week with a little hit, maybe being taken for the 2nd week in a row, which brings a smile to Reedy's face. But we will touch on transfers later. Alexander-Arnold with the 9, Salah captaincy, managed to get 12. Obviously, I wish I captained Son, but I'm boring. Stuck with the pack, effective ownership. It was just too risky for me. Obviously, didn't captain Salah during that Man United game where he got the hat-trick, and it bit me really, really hard. So I'm a little bit nervous and apprehensive to not captain Salah these days. But he managed to outscore him this week. Rafinha managed to get another assist. It's going to be difficult to sort of stick with him through those tough fixtures which we mentioned earlier. And then Jota and Ronaldo obviously didn't do anything, but Callum Wilson, the main man, goal, 3 bonus points, really deserved. I'm really delighted with that transfer that I made. He blanked in that first game week that I had him, but for Norwich and Burnley, he's managed to get me 18 points from those 2 games, which for the price that he sits at, you definitely take it for a 7.5 million striker. You can't complain with that. And as I said, it's probably going to be him out at some point soon, but he can stay for now. He's got Leicester on the weekend, so he scored 2 against them last season away. So if he can recreate anything of that sort, I'll be absolutely delighted.
You be on the Wilson one before you click off, mate, just for try and catch it. Obviously, they've got Newcastle got a decent January, haven't they? Is it January, February?
Good January. Yeah. Good January. Horrible December.
Do you think probably is it definitely worth the transfer then for yourself? Obviously, I know you just mentioned then.
I think I want him back in for game week 21, but I think for someone at the minute like a Josh King or an Antonio that have got a lot of nice fixtures for December that I can because if I go with Antonio, I can always just make the transfer back to Wilson, and that's sort of what I'm leaning to at the minute, I think. But I don't want to double up on Bowen and Antonio, but it's going to be an interesting one. But I think it's going to be either King or Antonio for Wilson, and obviously Ronaldo's got a lot of green fixtures as well, so he's definitely staying. But just against those Man Cities and everything, I just don't really fancy Wilson too much. But we'll have to see how that one goes. But obviously, he's going to be back in the team for January because I like having him in my team. He's like the guru has Harry Kane. I have Callum Wilson in my team, so it's sort of one that I hold close to my heart.
Not decent, mate. I think he's going to be a good pick for January. I've definitely got my eyes on him on the watch list. For that period, because you feel like Eddie Howe, if he gets a bit of money to spend, give him a bit of a boost and a bit of support around Wilson, that could be a straight away good impact, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just have to wait and see with that one. But you've got to live in the now, and Newcastle's December fixtures don't look too kind for them, so we'll just have to see how that one goes. But he's definitely going to be staying for this week. I'm not going to be taking him out this week, so we'll just have to see how that one goes. Jack, you got 55 points this week, though. You're 2 points ahead of me in the league. I'm slowly creeping back up the league, so hopefully another good week from me, and maybe I'll overtake you this week. But you got 55 points, as I mentioned, 12 above the average, and some really nice scores all round. So just take us through your game week 15.
Yeah, that's right, El. I mean, obviously, yeah, you've had a good couple of weeks, 2 green arrow weeks for you, I think it is. So you've been well, and you hold. What was it, 8? You were mid-80s last week, weren't you, for last game week?
Yeah.
So you've managed to gain a bit of ground on me, and obviously you've overtaken Reedy. So we're both looking down on him down there in the relegation zone with Statman. But I'm looking over my shoulder at you, mate. I see you coming, so I've just got to keep these points coming, make some good decisions. But going through my team, yeah. Listen, Ramsdale one, obviously not too good in there. We're obviously getting the defeat against Everton. I felt, they were going to get maybe a clean sheet. Everton, they've been terrible, haven't they? But Rafa's managed to find a way, and they got back in that second half. So yeah, not good form from Arteta and the team. But Trent bringing in the 9 points. Cancelo again, he's not really doing the business. I'm actually thinking about if I can get rid of him potentially in the next couple of weeks, but I know they've got a good fixture, but he seems to have just slowed down slightly, hasn't he? But to get rid of him before the end of December-wise, it's probably terrible. And even after that as well, look at that Arsenal Chelsea. Yeah. After that, you got Southampton, Brentford, Norwich. Wow, maybe not. Maybe I won't sell him after all. So maybe keep him with him. He's just an expensive asset, isn't he? And if he's keeping quiet, where else do you go? But
yeah,
I'm not too sure there. But obviously Reguilon not doing the business, but at least my other Tottenham asset got the points, similar to Reedy. Captain's armband on Son. I thought it was a perfect fixture for him there against Norwich. And obviously I got a text off Reedy in the morning going, Son scored, happy days. So yeah, we knew we were in for a big haul then. Happy days. Hendo got the 3 points. Now he's obviously my enabler in there. I got rid of who did I get rid of in there? Got rid of Mbuemo, downgraded him to Henderson, even though Mbuemo got the assist. I think long-term Henderson's probably a better option, and I can upgrade elsewhere and keep Hendo in because I think he'll keep returning some decent points for me with that Liverpool coverage. Salah, 6 points, obviously contributed. And then Jesus, terrible kind of stuff with him. Obviously, he obviously came on as a sub. He was dropped. I thought he might start. Couldn't believe he didn't start. And then he got dropped. And then came on as a sub. And then he got injured before the end of the game. So for me, Jesus, he's on the way out in the ambulance. Ronaldo, 2 points. United only getting a 1-0 win there. United destroyed Crystal Palace in that first half. We were absolutely on it at the races. And about the 35th minute, we kind of dropped off the pace. But I'm excited to see where this goes with Ranić. I've put Ronaldo in for the fixtures, new manager. We've got everything to play for. So I'm hoping for some good returns from him over these next 5-6 weeks. Obviously, we've got Newcastle coming up again, I think, at some point, haven't we?
I think that's Boxing Day. I think that might be the fixture. 28th, sorry.
Yeah, 28th. So that's going to come around pretty quick. Merry Christmas, Eddie. That's it. And so Hwang not doing much on there. And my bench is horrendous still. I'm still trying to improve that. So yeah, Foster, who's out, got White, and then I got Longstaff and Alan Longstaff, as I call him, because I've got two pieces of deadwood in there with them 2 players. So respectable score. quite happy with that. Keeps me steady, another green arrow, so all good.
Yeah, absolutely, and we will move on to a good discussion now, because it's kind of a good segue, because you do have two Spurs assets in your team, Jack. One of which is Reguilon. I don't know if you saw his tweet. He was saying, "Keep me in your FPL teams. He's going to be back," which I thought was quite funny to see. So he's fairly confident he's going to be back from injury. But the worry is that Spurs' game this weekend is going to be called off due to COVID, because they've got, I think it's 10 players out at the minute, including what's rumoured to be Son and Ben Davies, who was just finding a bit of form. Ben Davies and Son, both of them were starting to perform, which is a bit disappointing and sad for them. But if their game's called off, obviously they can't play. Reguilon can't play. None of them can play. So Jack, what do we do? Do we wait? Do we just transfer Son out now? Because it's going to be a while. You were saying before, it could be up to 3 games that we miss out, and to have that sitting on your bench, waiting all that time, it's probably not going to be worth it, is it?
Listen, I think if you're premium asset and you're a Son owner and you've got 3 games coming up that you potentially can get points elsewhere, I think you've got to get him out. Like, for me, I'm definitely going to look to get Son out. I think if he's going to miss this Brighton game this weekend, Leicester as well, and then they're talking about Liverpool too, I'm going to be surprised if you don't take him out.
It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be
interesting. Do you want to read that out?
I do.
Yeah, I love that. Go on.
As Daniel's just said, just here quickly, legends, it's Reedy. Is he taking a negative 24 this week? He probably is after his manager of the week. He probably thinks he's earned a massive, massive hit, but he says Spurs are unwell. Leicester might need a Lemsip, which I don't know if they have them in England or, and many other places in the world, but it's sort of just, comforts your throat, doesn't it? It's sort of like a lozenge or whatever you want to call it. So they'll definitely be needing them with all the sickness that they've got at the minute. It's going to be interesting to see if their game against Napoli does end up going ahead. But 2v2 foot raw this weekend in Marabin, Jack, it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so D10 will be making an appearance this weekend. There'll be a live stream going out. We might put it out on the FPL Addicts one just to share a bit of love, but we've got Elliot and Ollie on the commentary doing it on the live stream. And then D10's going to be playing. I'm doing a bit of organising, and I might fill in the game and put it through D10's legs. Game a bit of an ole. But yeah, foot raw street football. We've got a tournament. I've got a tournament in my daytime work this weekend. So excited to get all the FPL Addicts teams together and helping collab on that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really looking forward to it.
And Statman's there as well. Statman's back as well.
Perfect.
Statman
The return of Statman. We'll have to get him on the pod at some point soon so he can give us an update. Maybe we'll get him on a Champions League one, because I think he's doing a little bit better over in the UCL than that at the minute. But yeah, obviously should be a good weekend, and should be a really good experience for everyone. So watch out for that on all the social pages, Jack, correct?
Yeah, that's it, mate. You can find all the information at Footrua, FUTRUA on Facebook and Instagram. There's a big community on there, street football from obviously South America, and Portuguese, Spanish one. Reedy, you're a bit of a 2v2 player, aren't you, mate? You never pass the ball to the rest of your team, so 2v2 sounds right up your street.
Listen, mate, I'm not even in the same league as Dan Capolaro in terms
of... No one said that.
Oh, hey.
Don't compliment yourself too much.
Hey, come on, boys. Give me a sec, will you? No. In all fairness, hog the ball. That's what basically you're saying. I never pass. All right, yeah.
No, it wasn't because you didn't want to pass. You couldn't pass.
Listen, I can pass, mate. Jesus Christ, chat. Hey, come on. You weren't playing with a blind guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can pass, trust me. I mean, I can also tackle, mate. So next time you're back over the UK, if you want a 1v1, mate, or 2v2, let's do it. So let's do it. Let's see how them knees are coping these days. Come on.
Oh, all right, mate. Don't you worry about that. But let's get back to Spurs business anyway. So going back to Spurs, listen, I'm a Son owner, right? So I'm going to be looking at moving Son along. I don't think I'm in a position where I'm still chasing everyone, obviously in the pack, right? Where I'm in the middle of it, I'm near the bottom of it. I need to get some points on the board. So if I don't take Son out and I keep hold of him and wait, it's not going to be good news for me. I'm going to miss out on a lot of points. He's such an expensive asset. I'm going to have to look elsewhere. And there's some good fixtures out there for other teams who we can look at. So for me, I'm going to be looking elsewhere. I don't know if we're going into transfers just yet, but the Reguilon one, I'll probably hold on to him because he's a bit cheaper, and I could probably go without him. For a couple of weeks, depending on what happens. There's no guarantees on this either, is there? We don't know officially what games are going to be called off. But if it is looking like that and he does have COVID and the games are going to be postponed, then his son's going out for sure. If the games don't get postponed, regular no hold on to either way anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I sit same boat as me, Jack. Sort of sitting midway points in most of the league. So you're chasing. You're already fighting an uphill battle, and you can't be taking any more passengers. Otherwise, you're just going to keep slipping and slipping and slipping. And you got to get points now, and that's the reality of FPL in this Christmas period because the games just come thick and fast. So it's a disappointing one because he's probably going to miss out on a couple of games. I think I asked the guru, and surprisingly, he told me to hold on to him. And I think it's one of the first times where I've just not been too sure with some of the guru's advice there because I think. Maybe for someone like him who's sitting fairly comfortable in the leagues, he's fairly high up. He doesn't really have to chase as much. You probably can afford to hold on to him and sort of, let your bench cover take over for a couple of weeks and you don't have to do anything rash. But as you've said, Jack, if you're chasing and that sort of stuff, you can't be having that amount of money just sitting on your bench, waiting for him to come back. And when you're not even too sure, what the whole situation is at the minute, because we haven't really had much clarity on it all.
Yeah, and this is it. You need the official stuff, right? We've been done by this. What was it? Game week 5 or 6 was it? With where Son was supposed to have COVID at that point. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then there was nothing wrong with him to play, didn't he? So we need this official stuff, even though there's a lot of stuff out there happening with news articles. Obviously, there's a lot on Twitter, but there is actually new official news articles elsewhere saying it. Nothing from Spurs camp as such, as far as I know, in terms of Son is out and the game is off and this is not happening, sort of thing. So I'll be interested to just see what this official news is. But if he's identified to have that case, he's got to be he's got to be gone.
Yeah, I think it's a case of waiting for the news conferences, boys. Yeah. But it is looking likely that to be heading that way, that the Spurs Brighton game is going to be called off, and even if that is called off, depending on what players you've got in your team that have COVID, they're going to be missing a certain amount of games anyway. So you're going to be looking towards shipping those guys out, and it's similar with the Lukaku injury thing. A lot of people held him, and we're waiting for him to come back and all the rest of it. I think it's that was a bigger sacrifice because of his price tag. That was a lot higher. I think they shouldn't have held on to him as long as they should. But I think the same with Reguilon. I know he's lower, and I know he might be a good asset to keep hold of. But I just think, as you guys said, you need the points now. So I think if you can, without taking too much damage, too much of a hit, see if you can hold on to him a week or whatever. I'd then take him out and get him out there. Depending on the news, of course, and what happens. But it is looking likely.
Yeah, we'll obviously wait right up until the press conferences and everything, seeing what Antonio Conte is going to say. Obviously, there's no Spurs game in the morning. I think they're going to play Stade Rennes or whatever in the Conference League, but I think that's been called off now as well. So we really can't get any clarity. I was sort of waiting for that to see if he was on the bench or if he was going to start or anything, because Spurs still need to win that game in order to qualify through the Conference League as well. So they probably would have played him in that big game, but no one can really tell how it's going to go. Ozspike makes a really fair point, is that he's going to drop as well in price probably if he misses out on a couple of games. He reckons at least
sell.
So you don't want to lose that value on Son, who hasn't really risen too much this season anyway. So he's sort of sitting on that base value, and you're only going to lose value if you hold on to him for too long. And you've obviously got to wait for that to rebound as well. So I think for me, it's going to be a case of letting him go. He served me well for Norwich, but I'm going to be letting him go, I think, boys. And I think that's probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah, fair enough. I think, listen, Chris Reed, you're in the UK. You should be giving us this kind of news here. Ozspike's doing us well. He's down south. Obviously, he's south of the border. You're north of the border, so I'll let you off slightly. He's giving us a bit of intel here, saying the Spurs training ground is now closed. All training at home. So they'll be all up on the Zoom.
No, I have been looking. I actually watched Antonio, not to go on this too much, because obviously we've got Leicester to talk about as well, which is another section, in terms of the COVID and the illnesses, and will they play the Europa League game tonight? But yeah, that is true. Ozspike saying Spurs training ground closed off because they don't feel like they've contained this, and it's spreading, and are worried that it may affect the players. Certainly, Antonio Conte is more concerned about his family and players' family members and things like that. So although we are back to this normality, if you want to call it, fixtures being played as they used to be, fans, etc., we do still have to take this seriously in regards to the COVID, and that there are certain parts of the world that there is a pandemic. And if this sort of thing starts spreading again and all the rest of it, soon enough we won't have football to talk about again. And I certainly don't want that. But the well-being of players, the well-being of fans and friends, family, all that sort of stuff, that does take the forefront. So yeah, Leicester. What have we got anything to say about that one, lads? In regards to COVID or illness?
I think
It's
someone
a really,
published
really good speech. Really, just
it's
quickly,
a speech,
really nice speech.
Yeah, what, boys? Hey, not got my shirt and tie on here, have I?
Start running for Prime Minister, mate. At this point, with all that's going on in England at the minute, I think
don't even talk
with
about
a shout.
Let's not turn to politics. But you've got, when you're on camera, Reed, you've got to wear pants, mate.
Not if you're standing behind a whatever you call it.
Come on, then. It's a family show, this, Jack. Come on, don't do that. What is it?
No. So if we go to Leicester, the reports are there's 7 kind of staff members. I think it's 4 players. I think the biggest kind of player out there is Lookman, just to be aware of. The rest are like 3 staff members. But the thing is, when 7 players have got it, contact-wise, primary contact with the others, I'm sure everyone's getting scrambled to get testing, get those results back as well. So I'm not too sure if it majorly affects Leicester just at the moment.
Well, if you look at just to sort of give you an update on that, Jack, in regards to
go for it, mate.
The players that have been affected, as far as I'm aware, in that Kelechi and Iniacho.
Okay. Yeah, nice, good work.
I don't know why I'm saying the first full names here, guys. Reading off the.
He's on Sky Sports. That's why.
Is that because you couldn't say his second one?
Yeah, Lookman, Adamola Lookman, Daniel Amati, Yannick Vestergaard. There you go, got that one.
Oh, Vestergaard's got it as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a few players that weren't on the plane basically to Naples.
Right.
They are confident Leicester of this game going ahead against Napoli, but
maybe because it's not enough members of the team who've been affected.
Yeah, and that it comes down to that in regards to Spurs game being called off against Rennes. That Spurs players have got a lot more players affected and staff affected and things like that. So it just depends whether Leicester have contained it enough, and we'll hear more about it later on today. That Leicester game might end up getting called off. We don't know, but yeah.
This is what we expected, Reedy. This update. This is
better, is it? All right, okay.
I love that. Well done, mate. I love that.
You can be the medical analysis on the podcast now, as well as the UK correspondent. We were expecting you to go around swabbing all the players at the training grounds.
Is this what it is? Yeah. Right, okay.
Reedy's injury clinic now. That's what you are as well. You've got to, there's a guy on Twitter, I think his name's Ben Dinnery. He does all the, making sure that players are okay. That can be you now, Reedy. That's your job on the podcast.
Mate. As if I haven't got enough to do. It's all right. I'll do that as well.
He can do it all. He can do it all.
When you're throwing around your Captain America shield, mate, so you got plenty of time on your hands.
Fights crime by day, FPL injury analysis by night. Chris Reed couldn't write it. Anyway, we will move on from all the COVID stuff, and we'll talk a bit more about injuries. And they are the topic at the minute. We will touch on our transfers just afterwards. But Foden's got a problem with his ankle. Smith Rowe not yet recovered, didn't make the squad for Everton, and Jesus is injured. All these sorts of players. I think it's so important, as we've said with Son and all this COVID stuff. If they are injured at this point, it's looking like they're going to miss maybe 2 or 3 games. So I think it is worth just getting rid of them, getting a player in that that once they are back, you can transfer them back into your side, and getting a player in for the next 2 or 3 weeks just so you can have them just getting points, because you can't afford to have passengers in your team during the Christmas period. There's too many games. You're going to miss out on too many points. So I don't know if you agree with me there, Jack, but for someone like Jesus that's in your team, if he's going to be injured, and but you get the news that he's going to be out for a week or 2, he's going to be missing a fair few games, isn't he? So it's going to injure you.
Right, well, here's the news on this, mate. So Jesus has actually gone from my team. So I've made a transfer, made a move already. I've actually made 2. I had my 2 free transfers. I've done them. Jesus has gone. So I've not. When I saw him come off, I made my transfers literally straight after the game. So he's left my team. And who else was the other one? Dennis was the other one who came in as well. So yeah, Jesus out. Dennis has come in from Watford, so I've not waited around. And then my next transfer was what have I gone? I've gone Bernardo. So Bernardo's come in for me, Bernardo Silva. Don't know if I've missed the hype or not, but literally straight after that City game, Bernardo came in, Jesus went out, Dennis came in, and who went out for me? Jesus. Longstaff, your favourite, Elliot. Longstaff is gone. He's out. I've upgraded him to Bernardo. So, yeah, 2 transfers in for me. I've not waited around after seeing that knock. Yeah, I was pretty confident that just get the best out of Bernardo in these next 5 games, and they've also got Newcastle as well. You're in for a torrid time.
Absolutely, that's the annual 5-0 thrashing or whatever. So he's definitely you're gonna want to have him in your team for that one, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you reckon them 2 transfers then?
I think they're really good transfers. I think I'm sort of sitting similar. I think I might maybe even have to take a -8 this week, Reedy, just to sort of sort my team out, because I've got Brandon Williams who's not going to be playing, and Norwich clean sheets, they aren't doing the best at the minute, and I want Kufal in, but I've got to get Son out
Nice.
and I've got to get Rafinha
Yeah.
out as well because of their fixtures and obviously COVID. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go from Brandon Williams to Kufal, Rafinha to Jarrod Bowen, and Son to someone like Bernardo Silva or someone a bit more expensive that I haven't really decided on yet.
Yeah,
But I think
nice.
they're going to be 3 transfers for me, and it is going to be a -8, which pains me to say. But I think long term, it's probably going to benefit me a bit more. Reedy, I want to get your thoughts because you're the hit man.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, boys, it's nice that you're thinking of me there. So. Are we? Is that your transfers covered, boys, in regards to injuries and your transfers?
Apart from the Son one, mate, which probably have to I'll be taking a -4 for. I'm thinking Rashford for that one, by the way, for me. So that's why I'm on Tom.
Listen, it's not a bad shout.
That's right. You crack on though, mate. Go on.
I've made my transfers, boys, and Elliot, listen, mate. Are we swapping here or what? Because you're turning into the hitman, and I'm basically didn't take any hits last week. I'm not taking any hits this week either. My 2 transfers got made. And I'll tell you what, it's funny with all this COVID business, actually, not the actual COVID, but how my transfers went now. I took out Son and I took out, who's the striker? Hwang. I brought in Bernardo Silva for Son.
Hwang.
Hwang. So, I took out him for Dennis. So Bernardo Silva and Dennis have come in for me. I did regret that decision, actually, because after I'd done it, this was before all the COVID business with Spurs. I did think I should have took Diego Jota out instead for Bernardo, just because I thought Liverpool might have a bit more of a difficult fixture against Villa, and Jota with his chance missed at Wolves. He has so many chances, and he could get so many goals, but he just doesn't quite get there. So I made that early on. And then we had the Spurs COVID news, and I was like, "Wow, I've really got away with one here. I've got a bit of luck on my side." So that's me. That's all I need to make basically for this week. Those 2 transfers, no hits, all set, boys.
So just copying my transfers then, Reedy. Yeah.
Whoa! No, you've got Son in, mate. You've got Son in still.
No, but I'm saying you're bringing in Bernardo and Dennis.
Yeah, but you've still got Son there, so it's not the same.
Okay.
They are
Plus, are you taking a hit afterwards?
I will do. Yeah, I will be. I'll be taking Son out. Depending on what this news says. I'm going to wait for that news. I'm not getting stung like that again after what happened in game week 6 or 7 or whatever it was.
Smart thing to do. I think that's the really smart thing to do. Wait for the official news and then sort of act on it. But in terms of captains, for the 3 of us, I know it's going to be Mohamed Salah from me. It's boring again. Aston Villa at home. It's Stevie G's return. I do fancy maybe a little bit of an upset on the cards. Maybe he'll sub himself on in the 90th minute, and someone will cushion a header down and he'll just volley one from outside the box, get Villa a late equaliser or something. But that's going to be my captain for the week. Reedy, what about you?
For me, captain will have to be... Where's he gone? Mo Salah. It is. It's a difficult one to pick in terms of fixtures. I've got a lot of home fixtures in my team, but I just feel like Mo Salah's the best option, personally. I mean, the other one for me, if I was going to go away from Salah, it would possibly maybe Vardy against Newcastle. Sorry about that one, El, but I just think lately with Vardy being dropped, I think in the last game, I don't know if that one's a sort of risk, if you like. Whereas Salah, he's going to start at home, he's going to get the minutes, and I just fancy him to grab a goal or 2 against the Villa this weekend.
Yeah,
so playing it safe, mate. Playing it safe.
It's a good shout. I think it's the shout for this week. Just before we ask you for your captain, Jack, happy birthday to you. Or Spikey says it's his 60th birthday today. You don't look 60, mate, so that's a big compliment to you. And you say you got a root canal booked for 2 hours.
Oh, God.
I've actually had a root canal before, boys. I've had one on my bottom left front tooth. I don't know which one you call that, but it's not too bad, old Spike. I'm sure you'll be fine, and best wishes with that, and hope you can enjoy your birthday despite.
Yeah, not the best way to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
All the best.
He'll be spending his 60th in a bit of pain there, but I'm sure he'll make up for it come this weekend.
Is your appointment 2:30? Can I ask? Is it 2:30? Because that would be quite funny. I think that's always the classic, isn't it? Because it says 2 hours, so that would it would be cutting it fairly close, I think, with the time change here. But yeah, best of luck with that, and I hope that goes well. And obviously, happy 60th birthday as well to you, and thank you for everything you've done for the community, and have a wonderful day. But Jack, your captain for this week, who's it going to be?
Oh, captains! Listen, obviously, Salah's the big one, right? Salah's the big one, but I'm also thinking Cristiano. I think we've got Norwich. We're away from home, which isn't ideal, but it's Norwich, right? If Tottenham can win at Norwich, United can win Norwich. So
there's a bit of hesitation there. If Tottenham can win, you mean?
Because I was thinking Tottenham are at home, really. Tottenham at home. That's why I hesitate. I was like, I think I've just said they were because they played Norwich, but because they played Norwich, they beat Norwich 3-0. Ronaldo, United.
Are you not thinking that it maybe should have been Fred for Henderson in your move last week, and then Fred's doing big things. You could have brought him in.
Do you know something though? I didn't know what Fred was going to do. I have no idea what Fred was going to look like and what he was going to do. So I know Henderson's probably more of a guaranteed 8, I guess, versus what Fred is. I still think it's pretty confusing what United are doing. 4-2-2, but Fred still bombs on. Is that how it's going to be? Is he going to still press? I don't know.
Did you say bombs on or blunders on there? I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, he does both in a game, doesn't he?
He does, actually.
It's just whether it's 80-20 or 10-90, whatever he does, which way. But I think, Henderson, I'm all right with that Fred one. I did consider that, really. It did obviously cross my mind, but I did back Liverpool in that respect. But going into captain, Ronaldo potentially is that one. But I think even also Bernardo with Wolves. But do you know what will happen this week? Bernardo's going to get dropped, isn't he? That's what's going to happen. We brought him in. If all three of us bring him in, he's 100% getting dropped.
No chance, guys. No chance, Jack.
He's played every game. Yeah, but this is what happens.
Foden's injured. Jesus is injured. They're the two forwards.
Yeah, but he'll drop him for
Higgins come back into a bit of form.
Palmer played or something like that, or God knows.
Bernardo is literally
nailed. Is he nailed? Are you saying he's nailed?
There's no such thing as a nailed player in a Pep Guardiola team.
Say nail. Bernardo Silva is nailed and guaranteed to play.
Bernardo Silva is nailed. I'll tell you. He's nailed.
Well, we're going to need a clip of that, I think.
Yeah. Right, we'll see what happens with that one.
Unless Jack's just seen something in the corner of his eye, Bernardo Silva to miss out, and I'm like, none the wiser,
I'd be crying my eyes out, mate, so I'd have to take a -8 then and get back out.
Yeah.
But Ronaldo potentially, Salah was nice at the minute, so.
Yeah, well, the guru has, in his absence, managed to pick his captains for us. He's gone with Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, which I'm a massive, massive fan of, and Bernardo Silva himself as his normal captains. And then for his curveball, he's gone with your boy Marcus Rashford, Jack. So you've got to be happy with, the pick there. You've spoken about getting Rashford in as well. So it's going to be, maybe if you get him in, you've got to stick the armband on him this week. Put a bit of faith in him, go with something a little bit different. It'll be ballsy, but if it pays off.
Yeah, that's it. I think I was mentioning the podcast before last when we were all on together talking about United assets, talking about the fixture run. Rashford's obviously top of my list. I brought Ronaldo in now. Rashford is my next one. And obviously now Son potentially being out with COVID has presented this opportunity with Rashford, and seeing the guru mention that as well and backing a curveball on him. Maybe. Let's just see what happens with this news with the COVID for Spurs, and Rashford could be the one. Would I, am I going to go to him as captain? It's a big one. It's a big risk.
No, it's got to be.
That's what the curveball's there for, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, I fully expect. When's the United Norwich game? It's 5:30 kickoff here. Saturday, yeah, of course. I was looking at the Friday fixture, so don't forget about that, boys. The deadline this week is actually Friday. You've got Brentford, Watford, but yeah, that I fully expect to see or hear something to do with Viva Ronaldo this weekend, which I'm not looking forward to, but it's probably inevitable. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's have it. I can't wait to do that. I'll bring up that video and play it over and over again for everybody.
Just looked for it.
Turn all the phones off and everything.
That's it.
Yeah,
So
that is just on that note, Ronaldo note there. If the Leicester game doesn't go ahead, boys, I know I said I wasn't taking a hit. If the Leicester game,
Here we go.
If the Leicester game doesn't go ahead for whatever reason, right? I have got 3 million in the bank, right? So if that game doesn't go ahead, then Ronaldo is coming in because I know you boys have got him. So my hand would be forced in that scenario. But if not, I'm happy to stick with Vardy then because I think it's a good fixture. But that is something that, given
that's a great fixture for Vardy, though, isn't it? That's a great fixture.
He likes to score against us.
It is.
Everyone loves to score against you, Elliot. Come on. So I think Vardy's a great. Like, I didn't know, was he dropped then in the last game? Or was he rested or what?
He was on the bench and he came on against Southampton. Yeah,
right. So I mean, that presents an even bigger kind of opportunity than for Vardy. If the game goes ahead and he's fit, of course. But 90 minutes, full 90 expected against Newcastle, surely.
If he plays 90 against Napoli, though, is he going to be able to play 90 against
Newcastle?
Yeah,
to be fair, that's probably why he's rotated out for this Napoli game. True, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, boys. So listen, I know we're saying I'm not taking a hit, but if the COVID affects things and Vardy's
you're definitely taking a hit. Come on, stop lying to yourself.
Ronaldo could be coming in, but we'll see. We will see.
As Daniel said, we'll probably wake up, next week we'll do the podcast redo, go, had to play a negative 24, hand was forced and everything, COVID happened. So we'll just have to see how that one pans out.
Yeah, 2v2 came into effect and I took the hits.
Absolutely. Before we do wrap up for the show today, the Cup is back, the FPL Cup. So if you've managed to finish, I think it was, top 8 million of last game week, you will be drawn a random opponent out of, all the FPL players that managed to finish within that bracket for this week. So Jack, it's the start of something new this week for the FPL Cup. I think I went out in the second round last year. Am I right in saying you actually had a fair decent run last year with the Cup, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of went quite a few rounds in. Well, not many. I think a respectable one's probably 3 or 4 rounds, right? Game weeks, maybe. That's quite good. I think I went maybe 6 or 7. I'm not too sure if you can you find that out on game week history, possibly.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll have to check that. But listen, nothing to boast about because it wasn't. Obviously, I didn't win it, so there's nothing too good. But it's exciting. It offers something a little bit different. It keeps it. Gets you a bit more into it and find out, what the history of the other oppositions are. I've got a guy called Geordie Fletch. He's gone all right in the last couple of weeks. He's got a 60 last week, so 5 more than me, and he got a 78 the week previous. So he's all right. He's got 5 green arrows in his last 6. So it could be quite a tough game for me. This one. This is maybe a bit more like, bottom of the league versus top of the league at this point. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chelsea fan as well. Bloody hell.
I've got a set and forget team, me, and he stuck the armband on Lukaku, and he's had it on him for the whole of the FPL season since Lukaku was added into the game. I think he's got Bruno Fernandes, all those sorts of players. He hasn't made any transfers all season, so it's going to be typical that Lukaku's going to come out this week and he's going to get 20 points. He's going to have him as his captain. Mohamed Salah will somehow blank, but no, I think. Fingers crossed against it's not a brilliant team as well for a set and forget team, so I think I probably should have enough to get me over the line in the first fixture for me. Reedy, do you know anything about your opponent?
I don't know too much. I did have a quick little glance yesterday or the day before. I think I was looking at his from his previous scores throughout the weeks and things like that, and he looks like a fairly straightforward opponent to play against. So we'll see.
What does that mean?
Well, what do you mean? What does that? He
looks straightforward opponent. What does that mean?
Someone who's not too difficult, like in terms of ranks wise and things like that. I don't think his scores have been great, so that's what I took from it. Kind of that I think I'm probably going to win the fixture, but you just never know with all this COVID business and everything else
as well.
To affect
the fixture. Famous last words.
Brilliant.
Where's it? I'll tell you what, this is a bit easier. I've just realised, so my guy's 4.8 million in the world. So really, the odds are against me. They're against him, right? However,
the bookies would back you.
The bookies would back me. However, he's in good form, so that's what I got out of mine. So, Reedy, what does yours look like?
Bloody hell, mate! You've done your full research and everything there, haven't you?
It's on the screen in the top right. Come on.
Screen on the top right. Right, where are we?
Just on their team. Come on.
To be fair though, Jack, just while Reedy's bringing it up, a green arrow when you're 4.8 million in the world doesn't really take too much as well. So
he's in form though, isn't he? That means he's starting to step up.
There you go, boys. There you go. I've got him.
Cup
Found him. God, his name is Raffinian Rhapsody.
Never heard that one before.
Bit more creative than my Jody Fletch.
Yeah. Oh, boys. I actually take back what I've just been saying there.
Is he 3 in the world?
He's 260k in the world. Oh, oh God. Yeah, he's 941 points overall. He got 40 in the last game week. I think that's why I was thinking, oh, he's not done great, but he got
that's
a low
why I thought it was straightforward.
Yeah, last three game weeks he's got higher than me, and anyway, so yeah.
I tell you what, boys, if I don't beat this guy, I've just brought up my details for him. His name's Egg Fried Royce, which is the most bland name that you can ever get. But he's sitting
bland dish as well.
Yeah, he's sitting rank 8,077,000. So it is about as set and forget as you can get. So if I don't beat this guy this week, that is the worst performance of all time for me, because 8 million is that's all I will say on that. That's my piece on that. If I don't beat him, I might have to quit FPL in general.
Well, this guy,
that's Man City versus Ribble Valley or something, isn't it, in the UK?
Yeah. This guy I'm playing, he's actually got Reguilon, Kane, and Tony. So and he used 2 transfers last week. So he's got a few fires to put out there, which bodes well for me, and that's quite good. He's also got Rafinha, so bring it on, on.
My guy's got Divock Origi. If he puts me out the cup, I'll cry.
Saturday night. Brilliant.
I can't have Origi doing that against me.
Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, they are our cup opponents, and obviously we will update you how that goes on the podcast next week. But before we do wrap up, a big thanks to our sponsor Bonus Bank for supporting us and our community this season. Make sure you check out the details in the caption below on how to take advantage of the bookie promotions. It's free to set up, but you can also receive 25% off your first premium month with our discount code as well. And that discount code, I believe, is FPL Addicts. Jack, would I be right in saying?
It's FPL Addicts. It's in the caption below. So you can find it on there on our socials and on YouTube. And just a big thanks to Bonus Bank. And looking forward to who's going to get Manager of the Month this month. Could be you, Reedy, at this rate.
Whee.
What can I say, boys?
What can I say? Could get $200, add to that $20, add it on. Get it back.
Listen, mate, send that to my account as well. This is late payments. We don't accept that around here. You know what I'm saying? Send the boys round. Send the boys over, I should say, on the flight.
Send them down under.
Yeah, but you never know. This game
you never know. It could be you. Yeah, it could be you.
This game throws up too many curveballs and all the rest of it. As long as I jump back above you two, which I think I will.
There's only one place you're going, mate.
Oh, there's all We'll
Statman Dave's coming for you.
We'll leave it there. We'll have to get Statman Dave back on at some point so he can update us with how his FPL journey has gone so far, as Reedy puts up the on-air side. We're about to be off-air because, as I said, that does bring us to the end of today's Game Week 16 preview show. Keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for all the content that's going to be coming out in the following weeks and all the playlists and everything. But if you did like today's podcast and you are listening along on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like down below and turn the notification bell on as well whilst you're there, because you might as well, because we're going to be bringing out a lot of content and you don't want to miss any of it with the fixtures coming thick and fast. But until then, may all your FPL dreams come true in Game Week 16. Wishing you all the best as we enter the crazy festive period. Sort all the COVID stuff out, and best of luck for this week. Take care, stay safe. Bye for now.